Hey there, it's John from Living the Music. Welcome to the video. Today we're highlighting two of Paul McCartney's great albums from the early 80s, Tug of War and Pipes of Peace. Now, Tug of War came out in 82, Pipes of Peace came out in 83. I think these are two really high quality Paul McCartney solo albums. And also we're pointing to these today because there's few tracks here that I think are very inspirational and thought-provoking and uplifting and worth considering for our own benefit in our own everyday living in the world. So just a little bit of history. Tug of War was his first album since the death of John Lennon in late 1980. He got back together with George Martin as a producer. Of course, George was famous for his production of the Beatles albums, most of them, or most of the songs that they put out, and also Jeff Emmerich as the engineer. He was on a lot of Beatles productions as well. So it was a much more, let's say, serious effort by Paul to make an artistic statement. George Martin was quite the taskmaster. I believe Paul presented initially George with 12 tracks on a tape. George reported back that he liked 5 of those, and the 7 would fall by the wayside, and Paul should keep writing. Paul probably hadn't heard that for quite some time, maybe since his time with George and the Beatles. So I'm sure that was a kick in the butt for Paul. And I would say he came through with flying colors. Tug of War is in my top 3 Paul McCartney albums. Pipes of Peace is probably in my top 10. Now, I put these together. Of course, they're right next to each other in terms of their release date, 82, 83. But also you can see thematically, you got Tug of War, you got Pipes of Peace. I think we would all expect, if Paul McCartney is going to come out with something about Tug of War, that the eternal optimist is then going to follow it up with something to do with peace and love. And sure enough, he did. And again, both of these are produced by George Martin with Jeff Emmerich. Denny Laine is on both of these albums. He's on almost every song on Tug of War. I'm not sure how many on Pipes of Peace, but I would say a few. He doesn't sing background vocals. That is left to Eric Stewart from 10cc along with Linda and Paul. You got some great session musicians on here. Stanley Clarke, a fantastic bass player. Steve Gadd, fantastic drummer. And you have famously Stevie Wonder on a couple tracks on Tug of War and Michael Jackson on a couple tracks of Pipes of Peace. All right, so that's the history. Now getting into the songs, you can see that Paul is taking this whole thing seriously just by the first track on Tug of War, which is the title track. It's not to say he was never serious or poignant in his Wings days, but a lot of those Wings tracks were sort of fantasy-based, sort of stoner rock, if you will, and just kind of light love songs. But here we have what is, relatively speaking, a serious statement by Paul. He's saying in this song that we got too much competition, too much fighting, too much conflict. We're trying to outdo each other, outscore each other. It's a tug of war. And wouldn't it be better if we could imagine a different world with more cooperation, more acceptance, more peace, more love? So that's basically it, but it's very beautifully put together and arranged. It starts with some grunting and groaning from guys, I take it, in an actual tug of war match. And then Paul comes in with his acoustic and his voice, so pretty, such a wonderful opening. It eventually builds into a big anthem with strings and booming drums and power chords and harmonies, and it's very lush and very powerful. So I love the sentiment of this. In another world, we could stand on top of the mountain with our flag unfurled. In a time to come, we will be dancing to the beat played on a different drum. So that's rather nice. It's not Bob Dylan lyrics. Paul never tried to be Bob Dylan, and we don't need that. But for a little bit of a lighter touch, you could say, it's still a serious sentiment with a powerful message. And I think in our own personal lives, of course, we enjoy competition in business, maybe in sports, but when it comes to our friends or certainly our love partner and our kids, maybe being in competition isn't really that healthy and that smart, and it's better to try to avoid that kind of ego conflict and look for more cooperation. All right, now the other one that I think is quite powerful on Tug of War is called Wanderlust. Wanderlust. Now this is a beautiful piano ballad by Paul with a really dynamic melody, one of his best melodies in his solo career, maybe of his whole career. This is a song about basically just longing for freedom and enjoying that freedom when you finally find it. Apparently, this goes back to when he was recording London Town with Wings in probably late 77. It came out in 78. And he recorded it on a boat in the Virgin Islands. And apparently, at some point, they got into it with the captain. They got off that boat. And there was another boat they got on called Wanderlust. And that captain was much more agreeable. And they got along a lot better. So Paul uses that boat and that word wanderlust as a symbol of freedom, and he talks about light out wanderlust, help us to be free, light out wanderlust, do it just for me, head us out to sea, there'll be no bust, this one's not for me, the other boat's not for me. Oh, where did I go wrong, my love? What petty crime was I found guilty of? What better time to find a brand new day or wanderlust away? Dropping a line, maybe this time it's wanderlust for me. So, he's using that sailing imagery and, again, longing for freedom, hoping he's finally found freedom. And I think as human beings, we all can relate to that. And we may not find ourselves in that particular trap that he was in, but we're certainly going to find ourselves in lots of other traps, whether it's imposed by circumstances or self-imposed. And there's maybe not always as straightforward a way out as just getting on another boat. But I think Paul is saying to us that there probably is another way out if you look hard enough and you're willing to make that leap. And let go of what's familiar and what's comfortable, and take that road less traveled, you're probably going to be quite a bit more happy. All right. There's also a wonderful tune on here called Somebody Who Cares. That's an acoustic tune, but I think it has drums also. Yeah. And that's one that Paul wrote during the sessions, apparently, like kind of the night before type of thing. He knew that I think Steve Gadd was coming in and maybe Stanley Clarke. And so he put this song together. It's quintessential Paul. He's talking about there's always somebody who cares. It's happening day in, it's happening day out. There's always somebody who cares. So when things go wrong, when the wheels are falling off your car, etc., just know there's always somebody who cares. And that's a beautiful sentiment. And when we get in a dark place and we're really struggling, it can be easy to forget that. And so it's definitely important to remember there's always somebody who cares. I just heard about somebody recently who had an accident, and this person is quite a bit banged up, and they don't want anybody to visit them in their recovery, because I don't know why, they just sort of want to deal with their condition themselves. And I feel especially bad for them to be in that kind of emotional state. And I have a lot of compassion for them. And I wish they could maybe hear this message that there's somebody who cares, and just let yourself be vulnerable, let them in. I think you'll look back on it and think you made the right choice. The other one, of course, on Tug of War is the famous Ebony and Ivory. This is his duet with Stevie Wonder. Paul wrote the tune. He drafted in Stevie to sing it with him. It's a big hit. I think it went number one, certainly in America. I've grown to come to terms with it, I suppose you could say. It's rather direct and somewhat simplistic in its lyrics. You know, it's kind of taking the idea of a piano keyboard, and you got white keys and black keys, and they work together in harmony. So why can't people of different races work in harmony as well? But you know what? Simple is not always bad, and direct is not always bad. And so now I take it on its own terms. I think it's sweet, and actually it's a profound message. And of course, we're still dealing with this in our nation and around the world in various ways. So Ebony and Ivory, living in perfect harmony. It's the dream we strive for. All right, moving on to Pipes of Peace. You got, first of all, the beautiful title track. So, as I say, you knew he would want to juxtapose Tug of War with Pipes of Peace. So here you go. This is a beautiful piano ballad, very lush. You got some, what's it called, tabla percussion in here, Indian kind of percussion, really cool. Sweet melody by Paul, really sweet singing. And he's talking about, I light a candle to our love, and love our problems disappear. But all in all, we soon discover that one and one is all we long to hear. So coming together, being one, that's what it's all about. All around the world, little children being born to the world, got to give them all we can till the war is won. Then will the work be done. Help them to learn songs of joy instead of burn, baby, burn. Let us show them how to play the pipes of peace. Play the pipes of peace. Again, on the direct side, on the lighter side of so-called message songs, but that's nice. You know, I look on the bright side of that. It's not too heavy-handed, I don't think. But it's a beautiful sentiment, you know, for the sake of the children, if nothing else. Let's play the so-called Pipes of Peace. Tug of War is always there waiting to be played. It's very tempting, you know, whether it's in politics or in business or you know, in relationships. It's always tempting to play that game of me versus you. But then there's the game called we and us together. Again, I know it's a little bit abstract. It's a little bit idealistic. But if you don't have that kind of aspiration and vision of what's possible, what are you left with besides cynicism and resignation? So I think it's wonderful. Now, another one that is really lovely here is the final track called Through Our Love. Oh, wonderful ballad by Paul. Really lush, some might say sappy, but I love it. I think it's a great love song. And he's saying, we wasted time and again on things we already knew. Born to do, I give my love to you. whenever you get some time, I'd like to roll it all up in a ball and spend it with you. You've got the power of love, and love has the power to make it come true. We can go through our love. We can do things that they said were impossible through our love. We can do all that we want to do. We can go through our love, etc., etc. Yeah, I mean, he's been saying that since day one. Love conquers all things, as the great poem says, and I think Paul is a great believer in that. Always has been. He's the silly love songs master. And here's another one, but to me and to him, I agree. I don't think it's silly. I think it's beautiful. I think it's lovely. And I fall in line with the sentiment 100%. Through love, so many possibilities and options and results open up that would be completely impossible without the power of love. So thank you, Paul, for once again reminding us of that, not only with this beautiful sentiment, but within this powerhouse, wonderful ballad with your beautiful voice. And we always have this to turn back to. All right. There's others on Pipes of Peace also. There's a wonderful, cute little song called Sweetest Little Show. There's another one called The Other Me, which is kind of interesting. It's talking about how, I sometimes act like a fool, and I wish I was that other me, that good guy, that I know I can be and I want to be, but I don't always come through on that. It's a light tune. It's that one's more of just a fun pop tune, but again, I think it's something we can all relate to, and how to diminish the amount of time that our sort of devilish me shows up, and enhance the amount of time that our angelic me shows up. Well, that's the dilemma, or the opportunity that we all get to figure out. I think it's like anything. It's a matter of discipline and focus and attention and intention. It also could be a matter of bringing in some resources to support us, whether that's meditation or music, the arts, or it's turning to a coach, or some kind of counseling, or something like that, or it could be exercise. Like most things, it's not just one thing. It's going to be a variety of kind of a holistic approach to the matter. But can it be done? Absolutely. And as usual, Paul McCartney is there with us. He's doing his own thing. He's just being a guy. He's being a dad. He's being an artist. He's being a friend, being a husband, a father, and to some extent, he's our friend, and he's somebody that inspires us. And he inspires us by, you could say, his artistic genius, his generosity of spirit, and from time to time with his inspirational lyrics, which hopefully I've pointed you to a few today. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'd love to have you aboard. Please like this video. That will really help us get it out to more people. And I'd love to hear any comment you have about this video or Paul's work on Tug of War and Pipes of Peace. Anything you'd like to add, I'm all ears. All right, everybody. Take care until the next video. See you next time.